An iceberg may have sunk the Titanic, but in recent years these geological sculptures of nature have managed to regain a positive reputation. The iceberg has inspired a principle held in regard by Caliper, that in order to get the best out of employees, employers must look below the surface. Caliper has spent more than 4 decades behind the scenes, helping more than 25,000 successful companies hire and develop their professional staff. Caliper provides human capital management solutions in 20 languages, with offices in 13 countries, and they're still expanding. The Caliper profile and Caliper sales profile have been audited against the technical criteria established by the European Standing Committee on Tests and Testing of the European Federation of Psychologists Associations. They also meet the minimum BPS psychometric requirements for use as a psychological test. What then can Caliper offer your business? Caliper has found appropriate matches for individuals in such high-profile workplaces as FedEx, Takeda, ICS, and NTL Telewest, working with these global organisations in recruitment and development of talent.
The main business drivers behind wanting to improve the customer service clearly is that the expectation of the public these days is really enhanced customer focus, the extreme care that we take of our customers, and ultimately the competitive edge. The key objectives with the strategy around really excellent customer service is getting the people right, and again twofold really was really looking at people. So why some of our people delivering this fantastic level of customer service, and we have great people, please don't get me wrong. But I think this was a drive about taking it to the next level. After we introduced Caliper, within about a 12-month period, we actually halved our attrition rate, which is sort of putting us really out there as world-class in our attrition rate, which is clearly a benefit to the organisation.
When we started using Caliper, it cut down the amount of time that the team coaches was physically spending recruiting, but it were getting the right people for the right job. Although we may only see 2 or 3 people, it was more or less guaranteed that those 2 or 3 people would be successful.
One of the first measures we use is at the 6 weeks, so once an employee started with us, been through our induction period, we do the first core quality monitoring, and after using the Caliper process, what we did find is a 40% increase in that first score, which again was a massive impact on the level of service.
We travelled to Paris to ask a FedEx representative about the integration of Caliper solutions into the recruitment and development of FedEx talent.
Performance assessment tools have helped us to identify the right talent for the job, because we use them for recruitment and selection, but we also use them for development, because most of our people are promoted from within, and we want to make sure that people are equipped with the right skills and knowledge for the job, but more importantly, the right behavior, attitude. So this is a competitive differentiator nowadays. What we found very interesting with Caliper is their flexible approach. Also, the partnership we have with Caliper, it's a real partnership, because we were able to have a real dialogue with the consultant that helped us to make it happen, not only to sell the tool and leave us on our own, but we have constant communication. Currently, for instance, we're working on a coaching program, and we use the Caliper assessment to identify a core profile for those coaches. So this is something we've never had before.
Takeda is the most successful pharmaceuticals company in Japan and a key world player. Takeda UK is the fastest growing pharmaceuticals body in Britain. Takeda UK were looking for a new approach to pharmaceuticals sales. Enter Caliper, stage right.
Takeda just announced a restructure of the company, and a number of people have been made redundant. And against that backdrop, we had to recruit what we believe to be the best people for these positions. And we wanted to make sure we could encompass candidates from outside of the pharmaceutical industry as well as within. And that meant that the recruitment process had to make sure there was no bias for people coming with industry experience. The role is very autonomous, and the candidates will work on their own, often in isolation, being the only person responsible for their business. And we had to assess whether candidates could handle that level of isolation, making decisions for themselves, problem solving, and dealing with the day-to-day isolation of the job. We worked with Caliper to design a screening process using two personality profiles, the work interest schedule and Caliper, to screen down those 700 candidates down to, it ended up being about 5 candidates per position, and that helped relieve the burden of management time through the recruitment process.
There was definite elation at the end of the whole process. So having gone through the online tests, having gone through the biographical questionnaire, and then having come to Takeda HQ and gone through the whole assessment day, even if I wasn't successful, and obviously I didn't know at that point, I'd felt a sense of achievement having got through all of those exercises.
A big part of the process which was also very positive was the feedback that came through afterwards. Obviously being offered the job was a very significant component of that, but there was also the feeling that this hadn't just been an experience that led you to one outcome. It was going to be an ongoing thing that you could refer back to.
Our challenge is not making the new business model. The challenge is how we can use the outsourced partner for our business. We also investigated a lot whether we need to have an in-house or outsource. Our conclusion is, in order to use best expertise available in the market, it is not best way to keep everything in-house. So why don't we use the expertise, available outside the company?
Takeda, FedEx and NTL have clearly prospered and grown since taking Caliper's services on board. The Institute of Customer Service were in need of excellent service themselves. What could Caliper offer?
Customer service skills are in short supply in the UK. The latest Learning and Skills Council report on this proves that point. And therefore employers are competing for quality people. It's important, therefore, that they have the right tools to identify who those people are. Our objective is to provide our members with a range of tools, a range of products and services which will help them in their aim of improving customer service. But we don't want to do it all ourselves. We don't have the in-house capability to do everything ourselves. And when it came to the need that our members were expressing to us for a quality psychometry, we wanted to work with a company that had a reputation in this field and who worked to a code of ethics regarding psychometrics, which was acceptable to us.
I was very, very impressed by their professionalism and very good quality of the program they developed, so that we can hire the best quality people from the market. So, of course, recruitment process is due to our effort, but with Caliper's support and Caliper's expertise and professionalism, eventually we could find the good quality of the people from the market. So I'm very, very appreciate partnership with Caliper, with our company.
Caliper has welcomed a new age, but the world keeps turning and another age will soon beckon. We leave the last word to their founder, Dr. Herbert Greenberg.
We have done literally over 10,000 surveys of sales teams, management teams, etc. over the years. And what we found beyond any statistical question is that these qualities, age, sex, race, but even experience and even education, none of these qualities are valid predictors of job success. We studied 18,000 salespeople, and we compared, and I'll introduce a word now, job matching. We compared those salespeople who lasted on the job for a year, who were job matched, with salespeople who were hired who also lasted for a year, who were not job matched. Of those individuals who were job matched, who were selected because they were the right person for the job, 85% who lasted on the job for a year were in the top half of their sales force. Of those individuals who were not job matched, who lasted for a year, 17% were in the top half of their sales force. And the turnover ratio was about 2 to 1. The only real way to solve the problem of hiring the right people is to use job matching as your core method for hiring.